You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hello and welcome to another episode of Unstoppable Actors. I'm so excited that you're here. I'm going to be diving into something that I know so many of you actors are struggling with, and it doesn't matter what stage of your career you're at. You could be regularly auditioning, you could have trained and have loads of paid credits on your acting CV, or you could be brand new. It doesn't matter where you are, every single one of us has come up against the real struggle of rushing scenes, and that is what we are diving into today. I'm going to be giving you an acting lesson to stop you from rushing scenes so you can actually immerse in the role, live through them, find something new with the character, connect deeply, and leave your audience with something, because that is what we want to do as actors. When we leave our audiences with something, they will talk about our performances for years to come. And as an early career actor, that is good news for you, because the majority of the time, your audiences are going to be casting directors sat watching your self-tapes, casting directors in that in-person audition, directors of independent films. These are your audiences. Of course you want to leave them with something, because then you are favourable in their eyes. We have a saying at Standby Method Acting Studio, the craft first for long-term success. When we work on our craft, when we get our craft, which is our acting skills, our acting technique, to a very good standard, we are more likely to call in the jobs that we want, because we are giving the directors and casting directors what they need. But when we're rushing scenes, we're not giving them what they need. Now, if you rush scenes, or you have done it in the past, you know you come out of them feeling really crappy about your work. You know you could have done better, you give yourself a hard time, and none of these things are actually going to help you, because when you're giving yourself a hard time, you don't feel creative. In fact, what happens is you just get in this cycle where you keep judging yourself. So we don't want to do that, because it's not very productive. We want to be objective, we want to be productive. I'm going to assume that you have prepped the character well for each audition that you do and each performance. And when I say well, I mean you've done more than just try and make the lines sound real. You've actually dug deep into who this person is. You've figured out what makes them tick, what drives them. And FYI, as a side note, if this is not something that you're doing, I highly recommend you start doing that. So if you have done that, you're good. You don't need to be coming out of scenes giving yourself a hard time, but you are still rushing the scene. So what makes an actor rush scenes? Fear. Fear of lots and lots of different things. Fear of not connecting. Fear of losing the lines. Fear of looking silly or making a mistake. All of these things have absolutely nothing, not one single thing to do with acting, because acting is about being creative. It's about using your imagination, and it's about using your prep to breathe life into a role and express their essence. But did you know that there's also another form of prep for the actor? And that is not the prep of the character, it's the prep of you, prep of the actor. Stanislavski spoke about this, he even wrote a book about it, An Actor Prepares. Lee Strasberg spoke about this, and I'm speaking about this. It's one of the most overlooked aspects of training in early career actors, because we favour the character and jumping into scenes over the preparation of the actor. So this preparation of the actor is about getting you into a state of creativity. It's about releasing you from the shackles of tension, because tense thoughts equals a tense body. Your body is the canvas on which the character is painted on. Tension suffocates imagination. Tension suffocates creativity. And when you are rushing through scenes, mark my words, you are 1000% riddled with tension. And this is exactly why I'm creating a course that will be free for the first 500 actors, and it is called The Nerve Destroyer, Lose Yourself in the Role, a complete training for new and early career actors. It's going to get your instrument prepared for performances. So getting into character is as easy as slipping on your favourite socks, and I really hope you'll register for it when it's released. But the big thing I really want you to take away from this episode is that the power is in the pause. When we take a moment to pause before we start an audition, before we start a scene, before we start a performance, we allow ourselves to get grounded. We give ourselves space to get connected to our imagination, connected to the character. When we allow ourselves to pause, we also invite in inspiration. Inspiration simply just means to invite in, so to invite in new ideas. When we allow ourselves to pause, we start from a place of knowing, a place of being assured. So the power is in the pause. The opposite is chaos, no clarity over what you're doing, fumbling, stumbling, rushing your way through a performance. It doesn't feel good. You don't feel as connected. It feels chaotic. It feels turbulent. But in that moment of pausing, you can allow yourself to become centered and ask yourself a very important question. What does this character need to say? And why? And why is it so important that their words are heard? Why is it so important that what they do is seen? And in that moment of ease, and in that moment of pausing, and of asking yourself those questions, you invite in inspiration, providing you've already done that juicy character prep work that I mentioned right at the beginning of the episode. So before any scene, say to yourself, like a mantra, the power is in the pause. Because when I rush, I don't express the true essence of that character. My audience only get to see half a character. I only get to experience half a character. And as an actor, that's pretty sad and a bit miserable because we don't want that. We want to experience the full spectrum of the character. So the power is in the pause. I hope this has been useful for you. If it has, please do rate the podcast and share it with your acting friends, because this episode could be the one thing they need to get themselves out of a funk. And if you've got any questions about the craft of acting and method acting, please do drop me an email. And the email is podcast@standbymethod.com. Share with me what your burning question is, and I could be reading it out on an episode and answering your question and helping you overcome this challenge. Use the lessons I've taught you, and you will find yourself immersing in the character like never before. I'll see you in the next episode. I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode, and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.